Welcome to This Week in Guns, a podcast that covers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. Brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. I'm your host, Jake Challen from Gun Guy Radio, and you make this show possible. That's right, you. Simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. Well, we have a great set of panelists returning this week. We have Ebbs from House of Guns, hot on his new hot mic. No, I totally screwed that up. Hey,
what am I hot for, Jake? I want to hear you say it.
I love that you're a radio host.
Episode, I was going to snap, and I'm probably just going to lose my mind. So,
to answer your question, I'm good, and I'm hot for teacher. So,
all right.
Good. All right. Peter Palma from MS Clean Incorporated. What is it?
It's first of all, it's Miss Clean.
I goofed again.
Miss Clean, and we're LLC.
You know, is she going to settle down and get married so we can say Mrs. Clean? That would be a little easier.
No, she's an outdoor cat.
And we have John Patton, captain of the SS Awesome over at Patton Media and at the I'm with Cash YouTube channel. Hey, John.
Hi, Jake. How are you, brother?
Doing great. Josh Cast of 444 Guys Guns. Hey, Josh.
How you doing, Jake? Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we have a lively bunch this week, so I have an announcement, actually. You guys don't even know this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Big announcement.
Secrets.
This week, I think I even have a
Top secrets.
for it.
Mars.
So, yeah, I quit my job, quit my day job.
What?
whoa!
Yeah.
I had enough. I had set July 4th as my walkaway date, but I just couldn't take it any longer. So
You had a whole forget you, forget you, cool, forget you, and then you dropped the mic and walked out.
yeah, well, I wish it worked that way, but yeah, it's over. It's behind me, and yeah, good things ahead. Lots more time to work on the Firearms Radio Network on shows like This Week in Guns. So, and I'm going to NRA show now. That was a probably not going to happen event, but my plane ticket and hotel is booked, so I will.
Look at you, man. That's amazing.
In Nashville. Yeah, I'm excited.
Congratulations, Jake. That's huge, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
This literally just happened today.
It happened actually end of last week. So.
Okay, does your wife know?
Um,
Does she know that you haven't been going to your other job and that you've been coming to the shop? And
I just don't. Let's just not have her watch the show and leave it at that.
Okay, I understand.
No,
So hold on. Let me say
very
something.
supportive.
For those of you out there that have no clue, we always talk about supporting the show and all that sort of stuff because this does take a lot of time, working 2 jobs, a day job, and trying to create all this content and run a network. That is an incredibly time-consuming thing, and there's a lot of resources that Jake puts into this, and now he's able to do this full-time or some facsimile of that, and that is... I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am because, I made that leap not too long ago, and now Jake is able to do it. That's huge, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be able to put a lot more time into it. Really, my money maker right now is my Amazon business. But, okay.
Who's doing that?
What is that?
Is that
Ebbs. Okay.
You said you couldn't hear me when the mic is up.
Yeah, but when you're playing it at the volume of the sun.
Oh my
Thor
gosh.
volume.
Anyways, yeah, very, very exciting. So NRA show, we're going to be doing a listener get-together, I believe, Saturday night. So if you guys are in Nashville for NRA show, we'll have more info, time and place on that later on. But it's looking like it's going to be Saturday night. I think that's the 11th of April, I believe.
2 seconds, I'll tell you.
So who all here is going to NRA show?
I think we all are.
I am not.
No.
What?
I will be in Omaha.
Getting steak? Like, I don't understand why
Actually-
you're going to Omaha.
We've been over this, and I'm not covering it on air. We don't have time.
Okay. That's super. We'll be there. We have no idea where we're sleeping yet, but Four Guys Guns should be there.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll be there too.
I think we have 4 guys in one small hotel room, so you're welcome to join us.
I think we might actually have to rent a house at this point because there's nothing available.
Well, I was gonna rent a house. I ended up with a hotel room because Airbnb, there was like nothing within like a 45-minute drive.
You know, T-Rex Codex Arms lives there. So, and we made friends at Shockwave, so maybe y'all can.
I would stay with that kid.
He's awesome.
You totally just threw him under the bus there, though. Like,
Yeah.
hey, everybody who's listening, that's going
Hey,
to
everybody
NRS,
who
look
likes
up
guns.
at T-Rex Arms Kydex on Instagram.
I
He's got a lot of good tips. He's the skinniest guy on Instagram, also, and he would love to house you for the NRA show. Peter Palma, signing off.
Yes.
Peter, didn't you have a listener house you last NRA show that listened to this show?
House me? What do you mean? Yes. Yes. I did actually. PJ. Well, I'm not saying his last name because he's a real person. He's awesome. He was such a sweetheart. Yeah, I stayed at his house.
Wait.
Cool.
Oh.
A listener. I said I'm going to NRA because I was desperate, and I'm going. I said if I have to sleep outside, I will. And he actually, PJ, I hope you're listening. He was so awesome. He let me stay in his house. He even, I think, left. He left for a while and gave me the key to his house. And I stayed there, and I think I left the key like under a mat or something like that, and left.
Yeah, PJ, if you're still alive, thank you.
We don't know who got the key after Paul left. So we're late to the party, PJ, but we're praying for you.
All right, let's get into the top stories this week in the firearms world. Fake gun shop video raises questions about truth and compliance with laws. So this happened in New York City, and I have lots of pop-up autoplays. So let me try to get through this. So it's a video produced by the States United Against Gun Violence, and they set up this fake gun shop in New York City, appealing to first-time gun buyers. And so people would walk in, and the guy behind the counter would show them a gun, and he'd be like, oh yeah, this is a favorite of this little boy that shot his sister, or all the guns had a history, a story behind them. And
but I was kind of upset because it wasn't the actual gun; it was just the model of gun.
Well, and they didn't even get that right on all of them.
Yeah.
Like, they talked about the Walmart lady, and he was holding a Glock, but the Walmart lady had a Smith & Wesson shield, I believe. But anyways, yeah, they even had like Adam Lanza's Bushmaster AR-15, and like on all the tags it said what crime it was used in, and what at the end of the video it says like all guns have a history, let's not repeat it, or something like that, or I don't know.
They've resorted to fear mongering. That's what it boils down to. The Bloomberg campaign has now resorted to elaborate fear mongering.
It was pretty elaborate. They had to like go in. They literally like took a shop that was nothing, set it all up, hung clothes, made it look like a gun shop.
It looked busy too, not for nothing. I mean, there was a couple shots where it's like clearly people want guns. So, I mean,
yeah, that was the cool part. It's like, I don't know. It'd be like saying, it would just be like I could open up a shop saying, "Oh, you want Froyo, frozen yogurt," for all you people who don't know what that is. And when they come in, I could just make up a bunch of stuff saying like, "Oh, frozen yogurt leads to like testicular cancer," and blah blah blah. Blah. And be like, "Man, I really want Froyo, but like I don't want it now." I mean, it doesn't matter. The fact that in this one street, all these people are walking in, just means there's all these people on Froyo. And not all the stores are fake. That's the one fake store of the millions of stores that aren't fake.
So for the first time in human history, Froyo equals fake guns.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Palma.
Did it not make sense?
No, that was good. That was actually really good. I
That
just
was-
don't know how testicular cancer was the first thing you thought of when associated with frozen yogurt.
That's probably the slickest analogy he's made
It
concisely.
was unbelievable. It blew my mind.
I just came up with it. It just came out. My
That's
mouth.
how you debate. That's how you debate.
So the States United Ceasefire USA organization are one of the groups behind the recent hashtag I'm Unloading campaign, in which prohibited person Snoop Dogg tells all his fans that have 401ks to not invest in gun companies because of all his friends and family members and associates who evidently made a regular practice out of shooting each other to death.
Well, I'm gonna have
because
to
if we're gonna
agree
take
with.
financial advice, let's take it from Snoop Dogg.
I mean, he's probably got more money than us. But
There's
I actually
a
am going to
shot.
have to agree on Snoop Dogg that you should invest in firearms companies, not because it's like wrong or anything, just because, as we'll read later on, they really like suck at it sometimes. So it's probably not the safest investment in the world.
Yeah, we'll get to the state of some gun companies a little later on. So
Yeah, but I'm foreshadowing. That's what that's called.
Students at elite universities now taking up arms.
I like it.
This is a story over on Pajamas Media, and it talks a little bit about a group of MIT students who make their way to the athletics center there, and they load some guns up and fire away because they are on the shooting team. The collegiate shooting team there.
I was excited because I thought it was, some of the leading universities were allowing concealed carry, but that was not what it was, obviously. But LSU, which I attend right now, they have a shooting team and they have classes. They have a marksmanship class there. So, and it's always, always, always filled. So, I mean, I'm in the South, but still, I think if you had any college campus, that it would be filled regardless, even if you were in, Stanford or something like that, even MIT.
I like it because it's something I've always said. If you read the article, you'll see that it says they make references to shooting being very Zen-like and whatnot, and their previous judgments of it just being something violent. And it's funny because when I first started shooting, and in a corporate environment, when people ask about your hobbies and they start digging in, you're like, I find shooting very relaxing, and they don't get it. It's like a huge stress release. But my own mother asked me recently. She said, you're an ADD child. You have, irrational, just scatterbrained. You're impulsive, and it's funny because shooting is one of the very few things that has for so long, consistent of a time frame in the span of my life, made me focus. When I have, the sights lined up, when I'm doing a reload, when I'm working with a gun in any way, shape, or form, I am more focused than I think I have ever been, aside from when I'm doing artwork, so to speak. So I like the fact that it's MIT guys and gals, hopefully, saying it, and I like it, and I agree 100%. Especially long-range shooting. Anyone else find long-range shooting to be kind of meditative?
Yeah,
not
it's
when I
definitely
miss.
the most. Yeah.
Not when you miss.
It's like that, like throwing knives. Like when you stick the knife and goes whonk, it does actually give you a feeling of whoa, awesome. But when you miss, it's like boing. So I agree with Ebbs. It's like if you're shooting something super far and you're like whoo, and it goes and it sails, pow, it splatters on there, and you just look up out the scope and you're like, whoa, that was far. It's cool, but if you miss, you're like, what the? So I agree. If you're doing it good.
Alien Colt hires a financial restructuring advisor. That's right, a financial and restructuring advisor for the tune of $150,000 per month for an unspecific amount of time.
I could fix Colt for half that.
You might want to let them know.
Yeah.
Give the heads up.
The whole issue is that you think you could fix yourself by getting a financial advisor to fix things for you. The bottom line is the end of the problem. The beginning of the problem is you haven't done anything since you made a revolver in the 1800s. All right? Maybe you should do something different. What have they done different?
Well, I mean, one of the reasons they're really alien is because I think they kind of, settled on their laurels of having other military contracts, and then those have slowly been going away more and more over time over to F&H and other companies.
Right, because Colt thinks they're better than everybody else, I guess. I don't know. I've never met anybody from that company. I've never spoken to them, but their rifles are standard. And do they make any handguns anymore? I mean, they claim they do, but you never see them in stores.
And even if they made a 1911, which who even knows, right? I mean, we should know. Like, so one of us should know, right? Does anybody do you know? Does Colt make handguns? Do they make a 1911?
I think they make smaller guns. They make a 1911.
Colt makes 1911s.
Okay.
But here's the thing: if you went out there and you said, "I have $1,000 for a 1911," what am I going to buy? You're not going to buy a Colt unless you're old and terrible.
You're an a-hole.
Old and terrible.
To make a blanket statement like that.
Yeah, I mean,
touche, Peter.
I mean, even it's really hard to sell, but yeah, there's nothing. They've done nothing new. They've done nothing interesting. This modular carbine is just some half-baked idea that has already been done 80 different times over by 14 different companies.
And nobody wanted it in the first place.
Yeah, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Interchangeable caliber anything is just cool. Most people would just buy multiples. So it's like, and especially with the amount of people making, I think John had the best point. So look, you can get like a full-size 5-inch 1911 from Colt. Not a bad racket at $978. For $978, you could also spend $300 more and get Nighthawk? I mean, there's so many better companies.
There's like 50 of them. If you really, yeah.
Nighthawk's still going to be twice as much.
You can get a Springfield that's going to be much better.
You can get a Ruger 1911 for $700.
Yeah, you get Smith & Wesson one. There's we could just go on and on.
Right. And they're all more innovative, better products. Like, there's nothing about Colt that they currently make that has anything to do with innovation. What they have done, and we've said this time and time again on this show, is they've rested. They've settled on these military contracts. They've gotten by selling, people that want a Colt for whatever reason. They want a Colt AR-15. They've gotten by selling them basic stuff, charging a lot more money than it's worth, and just not doing anything innovative. Look at every other company out there, and everybody's trying to innovate. Now is the time to push that.
Yeah.
Look at our industry.
And
there's that. Go on.
Colts had kind of a tattered past. I mean, through the 90s, they had several portions of time where they were boycotted by the gun-owning public in America in the early 90s. Then again in the late 90s, when their then CEO said that he would favor a federal permitting system for gun ownership, where training and testing would be a requirement for any gun ownership, and that led to a massive grassroots boycott of Colt's products by not only gun buyers but gun stores, and I think it was also during that time period they also split Colt Defense from the civilian side of Colt, even though they were still in the same factory.
Like FN Herstal and FNH.
They split, but now those two are back together. So it seems like they've had a real PR nightmare for I don't know, a couple decades now.
And let's not forget that not that long ago they spent an enormous amount of money purchasing LWRC. And
they bought LW?
Yeah, Colt owns that company.
Man, it's all coming together.
Was that like a year ago, July or something like that?
Right, and that company's not making any money either.
Because the same thing. There was a show on History Channel. It was like about the people who made America. And the one dude came on and said, innovation is a constant thing. If you are not coming to work every day to try to find a better way, you don't have a company. You are waiting to die on the vine. That's exactly what he said. And in 20 years, there's not going to be a Colt. or if somebody else will have purchased it, or whatever it is. It's like they're dying on the vine. They're just
Maybe. I mean, we've seen that with other companies where the company itself goes away and then someone buys that name or uses that name again. Because it's,
and then
it's
maybe somebody else
Americana.
will happen.
I mean,
But like, if they're continuing on this, if their solution is to get a financial advisor, that's it. Like, they need to solution is to get like not a fat old white dude with white hair to figure out what's going on. They need like somebody else to figure out what's going, like somebody else to make some awesome stuff.
Well, you know who's a really good example of a company kind of really doing a shift is Ruger.
Ruger and Smith,
Right, when Bill Ruger was still alive and running that company, it was all 10-round magazines, no high cap, no nothing like that. And now look at them.
Yep.
It's a completely different show than it used to be, and that's what Colt needs. They need somebody to come in and reinvent that company.
Look at Smith. Look at Sig.
And
Yes, I was gonna say Sig.
Yeah,
Look at
Sig's
Sig.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
definitely.
cannot say anything. I mean, look at them. Come on.
They're coming around hard.
Yeah, hard. That's
Would you
what you
look-
mean.
Would you look at it?
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Look at them. Look
Just
at
look
them.
at that. Just
Don't
look at it.
spoil it, Ebs. I want to know who's going to take all that real estate at SHOT Show when that ship goes down.
Well, 4 Guys Guns, right?
Yep. Oh, no. Timestamp.
Really? Was there a timestamp there?
I didn't
There
hear it.
was a alleged fudge somewhere in there.
All right, let's move on. Glenn Beck makes a big announcement about the NRA and Grover Norquist. So apparently, Glenn talked with the NRA Executive Vice President Wayne LaPierre about Grover Norquist, who's actually, I guess he's on the NRA board, I believe, and something to do with being agent of influence for the Muslim Brotherhood, helping.
Yeah, that's a steep.
That's a pretty big
Yeah.
claim there. There's a quote here that says, many of the reasons why we're on the wrong track now in the Middle East is because of the influence of Grover Norquist, Beck said. He is a guy that the left used to say was the almighty and powerful Oz during the Bush administration. I used to mock that. But we heard it so many times that we started doing our homework on it, and I'm sorry, he is Oz.
I don't know that I can take anything that Glenn Beck says this seriously.
Yeah.
He is so far into that right side, like, if we're going to divide this into left and right, he's so outlandish with so many of the comments that he makes, like the almighty and powerful. Like, come on, dude. Seriously? And it's quite possible that this guy is a
He's the
doucher.
James Carville of the right.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Here's where I call BS on this whole thing. Why I don't believe him. It says this. Beck declared, quote, yesterday I spent an hour on the phone with Wayne LaPierre of the NRA. They reacted immediately because of your phone calls. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of phone calls have apparently come in. You know why that's BS? Because they called me. The NRA called
Really, we're going here.
Yes,
Just straight into it.
5:51 a.m. in the morning. They called me the NRA called me at 5:51 a.m. in the morning. All right, now you should be up working. No, I was sleeping. All right, and then they called me at 6 something whatever, and they have called me since 5 times. So if they're fielding all of these calls, right? How do they have time to call me the crack of dawn in the morning and subsequently throughout the day? All day long.
They actually have a department where they specifically mark down guys that publicly bash them, and they put them on a list, and then they go, you know what, we're going to call this guy really early in the morning.
All
and they
the
have
time.
all it takes is 2 to 3 people to manage that, and you just happen to be number 1 on their list.
Hey, I'm proud to be an NRA Life member because of that fact.
Yeah.
Let's get back to this story real quick. So, you said he's an NRA board member, and they're looking to launch some investigation on him.
Yeah, correct.
What are they claiming that what is an agent of influence? What is that? What does that even mean? Can we use words that make sense here?
No.
Like this guy runs blank or he helps blank. No, we have to church it up for no reason.
Whatever. ISIS doesn't call me in the morning. All right.
You just wow.
They don't. Yeah.
Okay. All right. He's not lying. He's not lying. ISIS does not call early in the morning.
Not saying that they're good. I'm just saying they at least have that going for them.
They're too busy.
Wow.
Never mind. I can't say anything.
Jesus.
All right, let's move on.
The conversation that made a veteran cop change his views on a concealed carry.
This was compelling.
They schooled me, it says. Speaking before the Maryland... autoplay ad. Stop! Speaking before the Maryland Senate last week, a retired Maryland State Police officer and former commander of the Maryland State Police Licensing Division admitted that he once thought the prospect of many residents having concealed carry permits was scary. However, as he educated himself about gun owners, his opinion on concealed carry changed.
That's awesome.
So yeah, very very cool. And I wonder how many, especially me coming from Illinois here, and us just this year having our rights instated to conceal carry. I wonder how many police officers kind of have this paradigm shift.
I think there are all across the country. I don't think it's localized anywhere. I think there are police officers that think it's a good idea and police officers that think it's a bad idea. This is a special case because Maryland is notorious for having strict gun laws. They're against people carrying guns, and that sort of thing. And this guy is now speaking in favor of carrying guns. There's a quote from Macaulay here that he, I guess, spoke with legislatures, and he said, "These crazy people, these Second Amendment activists, they're all going to want their trophies." I guess talking about
the permits. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all going to want these permits. It's going to be scary. Dangerous people are going to be getting guns. Just any Joe citizen is going to get a gun. And that was
his old feelings.
Right. This is how he used to be, and now apparently he's changed that. It's a 9-minute long video on YouTube that is his speech, and I mean, to have somebody that is the head of what was Maryland State Police Licensing Division.
He in the video he took pride too. Like you could say he's like I used to he could tell he formerly took pride in not issuing these out.
Right.
As part of that.
And now that he's into it and he firmly believes that this is a good idea, to have somebody like that kind of flip and become a reasonable individual is a huge step in the right direction for the state of Maryland and for the gun community in general.
Cops that don't think a citizen, and they use those words, a citizen should not have the right to possess a firearm, scare me.
I agree.
I mean, that in and of itself is you're protecting, or trying to, because we all know sometimes they're just there to pick up the body. The fact that your citizens are still being treated in your eyes as subjects because that's your job and no one else can do it, and if you have a gun, you are instantly a threat and not a responsible citizen, that's a problem. I mean, this is kind of the core of what all those open carry demonstrators, as cheesy and stupid and putting themselves in danger do is finding those good cops that are like, yep, it's your right, yada yada, I'm just following protocol, I'm making sure everything's good, keep your hands where I could see them, blah blah blah, let's have a conversation. Those are the cops that are good. But the ones that instantly just assume that anyone having a gun is bad is like, you're either, I mean, I'm probably getting way out of my lane right here, but you're either shell-shocked from some bad thing that happened or bad thing that happened to somebody you know, or you are just a fascist. And maybe, like I said, maybe that's way out of my lane, but...
You're going to get the hate mail this week.
I'm going to get the hate mail. Listen, there are good cops. I know lots of good cops. I am happy to say I don't know any bad cops. But if anybody who is in that position thinks that a law-abiding citizen should not own a firearm because that's scary and dangerous, That's a control freak with a badge.
I see. I think the perspective is kind of screwed up because they don't think in terms of this guy's a law-abiding citizen, this guy is not. They think in terms of this guy has a gun, that guy does not. You know what I mean? They don't know that association of good people. Well, I can't say that they don't know. They don't acknowledge that you could have a gun and be a good guy. The people out there that the cops out there that don't want you to have a gun for whatever reason don't acknowledge the fact that you could be a responsible citizen. And let's be honest. Let's be completely honest. I would bet that at least 7 out of 10 of the people out there that shoot are better shots than most cops. I've seen cops they are atrocious.
You guys are going to get so much hate mail.
It's true, though. Ask cops. They know that their people can't shoot.
But to your point, John, that's still wrong. It's not their job to know. It's their job to uphold the law. So if you're not breaking the laws, you're doing nothing wrong, and you happen to have a gun on you, and you are a legal concealed carry permit holder, or in some states it's totally legal, period, just to have it wherever, like Vermont, you can wear it, strapped across your back, fully cocked and locked, and just roam around. You're making an assumption, and that's not law. That's literally profiling for no reason other than the fact that you're scared. And scared people should be wearing badges. Control freaks shouldn't be wearing badges.
But it's going to keep happening. I mean,
I'm happy about this, but when he said the words, they embarrass me, that's awesome. That's eye-opening. That means that he has seen a different side of what he assumed gun culture to be. Why was a law enforcement officer in a position where he was assuming?
That's a good question, man. I mean, it sounds like a far-fetched theory, but this kind of harkens to that state of the police state. People talk about the police state and the fact that they have all this control and all that sort of thing, and that kind of goes in line with that. When you give somebody all the power, they will just run you into the ground.
And I wish the best for Maryland because I think that's a sign of good for them.
Josh, how is it possible to get anybody, regardless, and I know this is maybe a really jaded look at people in general, but to get anybody, regardless of their line of work, to not come up with presuppositions or stereotypes or thought patterns about a certain demographic prior to being fully educated about it?
Oh, you can't. You are absolutely correct in that, and you can make an assessment. But the point of that wasn't the fact that you look at this kid who's he's clearly 15 years old. He's wearing pants around his ankles, backwards hat. He's wearing all red, things like that. Those are all indicators and proven things. That cop still can't do a damn thing about the 14-year-old being on the corner during school hours wearing all red, unless he's actually in some set of law saying that he has to be in school. I don't know. He has to do something wrong. Police work, for the most part, aside from, you would say, like your guys that are serving warrants and people that are doing proactive measures. But even those proactive measures to go and get people off the street, so to speak, are still reactive to something that has already happened or laws that have already been broken, and they have stacked this thing called evidence against them. So what I'm saying is not that cops shouldn't be judging people, because cops have to assess everyone way faster than all of us do. But cops shouldn't be scared and saying people like citizens are scary with guns. That's an assessment and a prejudgment without even saying he's wearing red and he's got his pants around his ankles and whatever. Am I not? I understand if I'm not being clear. This happens when I get a little fired up and I just start. I go all Peter Palma on it, but. But what I'm saying is that the police work as a whole is unfortunately reactionary, and they can only go with evidence and things they see and what they do. They can't just say you can't have this because I assume you're going to do this. That's where it's wrong. Crickets.
Okay.
It's about right.
Good talk. I mean,
if we didn't agree,
nothing to add to that.
we would.
Well,
Strong regulations on sales prevent high-risk individuals from accessing firearms and can reduce violent crime. So this is over on ScienceDaily.com, my favorite website. So these findings are by researchers at, get ready for this, Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Policy and Research at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and the University of California. And it appears in the Annual Review of Public Health, a special issue devoted to gun violence prevention and policy.
They could have probably named it something different. Did they have to name that?
how do you get a business card? I mean, I gotta.
It's just a gun with a red X over it.
That's one side, and then.
You know what else reduces violent crime? People that are criminals getting shot in the face by responsible citizens. That stops violent crime.
In and around the face.
Right in the T-zone. So eyes and mouth, right in that box area, right in that little triangle there, right in the nose. If you just shoot somebody right there, lights out. No problem.
Somebody learned today.
I did. I learned some stuff and some things. Lights out. You put violent crime out of commission.
Well, this is a mindset.
Some Lehigh defense ammo right in the face.
Go ahead, Ebbs.
Well, I was just going to say this is the mindset too that that is like the warning label society. Instead of letting stupid people sort things out, criminals get things that are coming to them. We protect them and allow them to have more opportunities to commit their crimes.
We've taken Darwinism out of American society.
Right, and so there's more stupid people alive now than any point in history ever.
That's a valid.
That's a really valid point. So, kind of in this same vein, we were talking about crime and all that. I saw a Facebook post, and we all know how reliable those are. It was a picture of some senator from Vermont, and it said, the quote, I guess, was her quote, and she said that we should be able to arrest criminals before they commit crimes.
Minority Report. She saw the movie and was like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Brilliant. People who claim to see the future, put them in a bath of salt water.
Yeah, that Tom Cruise really convinced me.
Said no one ever.
Yeah, I mean, they don't talk. Okay, let's err on the side of yes, this does work. It can reduce violent crime. How many law-abiding citizens did this stifle in the process? These strict laws. I mean, where does this come from? Are we restricting the rights of people in order to create what is potentially a feeling of safety? We've again, this is all stuff we talk about all the time. Your feelings, my feelings, the feelings of the United States citizens do not matter when it comes to the rights of the other American citizens. It doesn't matter. If I don't feel safe, you don't feel safe, it does not matter. The rights of the people matter.
Shall not be infringed.
Shall not. They shall not. It happens all the time, but they shall not.
All right. 6 Sauer selling the arm brace individually again.
I didn't know they stopped.
Well, now you do.
Yeah, they stopped and they were selling packages, and everyone and their mother couldn't get them. That was remember when I got like 10 of them, and everyone was like, "Where'd you get them from?"
See, it's crazy because you would think that. I guess because the other part maybe they're trying to get rid of the other parts because their margins on that injection molded piece of rubber are crazy that they're making. So the other things are a lot more difficult to make a part of that package. So I don't understand from a manufacturing perspective why they would include all those other ones. They have to be able to produce the mold the molded product way faster than in the other ones. So I don't get why they would, unless there's a legal reason why they wouldn't do that.
Could it be because they just wanted that cut of the money. They thought that everybody would continue to buy them, and because you're buying parts anyway, you would just buy the package from them.
For a company like that
to
small,
discontinue the individual sale alone,
Yeah.
that's where it was like shady.
Right.
Buffer tubes don't cost a lot. Buffer springs don't cost a lot, but you can mark them up as part of a package and still make a good amount of margin, more than you would actually get if you sold it individually. So if it was me, I'd say sell the package and the individual, but they tried forcing the sale of the package by discontinuing the individual.
the only reason I could think financially they would do that is if they had like a surplus of those parts
Right.
that were not moving.
And I know a couple countries that have done that. So.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of, but that seems unlikely. But I'm not SIG, so I don't know. But
Grab your wallet. Remington Defense begins selling to the public.
Did you see how much these things cost?
So,
yes, it should say,
Goodness.
it should say take a mortgage out on your house because it's great.
I could sell my 2007 Jeep Commander and get maybe a down payment on one of these things.
I don't get it.
So Remington has announced that they're going to start selling several of their special operations grade Remington defense rifles that, as far as I know, have not previously been available to the consumer market. They include the R4 carbine, some of their modular sniper rifles, and a M2010, which is a U.S. Army replacement for the M24 sniper rifle.
The M2010, if you get it without the suppressor, it was what, $17,405. If you get it with the suppressor, it's $19,708.
Right, but these are actually made in Asgard. So
What is that?
They don't have Ilion, New York. It's where Thor is from, Peter.
Oh.
I quit.
Well, really, money for something like this shouldn't be. I mean, we're looking at this incorrectly.
Oh my God. It's powered by dark matter.
Kind of like the same lines of advanced armament where like they've been sent a government contractor, so they're like, look, we could gouge the government for this and they'll pay for it, right? And so like when you go to civilian sales, you're like, oh, we could sell you our Knights armament and blah 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 blah, and it's like $400, and you're like, why did I do that when I could get a Griffin armament copy for $100?
Well,
You know what I
let me ask this too. Like, have we seen? Because I feel like, for instance, the M2010 that they say released the M24, which is based on a 700 system, correct? Based on not just a 700 system, but they say this replaced that, and it's been being used for so long. But it seems like most of the rifles that I've seen that look like this, like Macmillan, Accuracy International.
I'm looking at Cadex Defense right now for six.
Well, right, exactly. Guns like this.
Rifle.
And I mean, and same with Desert Tech, what they cost for their bullpup design. And it looks like this one takes, and I apologize for my ignorance. I am not a Remington Defense connoisseur, but it looks like it takes Accuracy International mags anyway. It looks like that's what the chassis is.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Rigged up to take, and so I
close
can't.
to it. Something very, very similar.
Then the funny thing is there has to be, when they set these prices, they had an idea of some civilians, Dan Bilzerian, that would pay it for something. So I'm trying to figure out.
Is it because there's Remington on it?
It's probably the same financial advisor that Colt is hiring.
Yeah.
And in this, they're working an angle here, and they're like, Colt's like, look, did you see the price tag they got Remington to put on that M2010? We need them over here, because if we can get $15,000 for one of our M4s, all our kids are going to college.
Okay, so for the listeners out there, let's go ahead and describe these guns, because I feel like we're leaving out some of the amazement that we're seeing in front of us.
Do I want to describe it?
Yes, Peter. I want Peter to describe the first one.
All right. So you have what is in essence a Remington 700, which I'm sure isn't like anything super special about it, in like just a chassis with an advanced armament can, who were awesome in like say like what 2000, right? But since that I have that can, and I am like I wish I didn't have it because it's super heavy. It's crap. Compared to today's standard, I own this can, and there's literally like a dozen other cans I'd rather have, at least that I could name off the top of my head. So
Palma,
it's how technology.
And how good is AAC's customer service?
Well, I haven't messed with them recently, but I've not heard anything good. All right. So.
All right.
Right. So you have like pretty much looks to me like what is near a bone stock 700 just bolted to a chassis, which you can do yourself. They have torque wrenches with some crap scope on it. Right. I mean, look, you could buy the thing at Brownells, right, and you could use your affiliate link. Right.
That's right. That's right.
And you could get the torque wrench and bolt and get a chassis and bolt it on there. It's crap. Like, I wouldn't spend any more than, at the most, if that's an awesome can, $5,000 for this gun.
Right. I wouldn't. Yeah, but I wouldn't spend that.
I wouldn't either. But I'm saying, if I had to purchase this gun, and you're like, what is the dollar amount that's reasonable? I would say $5,000.
Sure.
And they're out there.
And it makes sense because it's 3 times as much, which they're gouging the government. It makes all the sense.
You know, I think I'm going to really go for the most bang for my buck here and go with the full-blown MSR modular system with quick changes between 308, 300 Winchester Magnum, and 338 Lapua. So I can get all 3 calibers with the Leopold MK4 scope and AAC Titan QD suppressor. All of this in a hard case, even comes in a hard case for the low price of $30,000.
30
grand.
463, no tax.
I'm just saying, for $30,000, I'd buy a machine gun.
Well, now let me ask everyone this:
buy an RV.
From a strategy standpoint, what does it look like Remington's doing right here?
Smoking crack.
No, like, honestly, I'm talking big picture here, because I see this, and I see someone trying to wave a flag around saying this is our name and it's awesome, but trying to get some quick money. I see this as being Remington's first kind of lobby over we're heading the way Colt is.
You think this is like a sign of their death throes?
I don't think the R51 was the clear sign of that, right?
Well, right, but because they're much more diverse than Colt was. Remington has their hands in a lot of things, from manufacturing and ammo and parts and now accessories. There's a lot of different things that they have their hands in. But when it comes to a gun line, is this just like an early April Fool's joke, or are they literally thinking that somebody's going to pay this because it says Remington on it when there's...
Well, they are, because they killed Para to put Remington on it. They've already proven this. So they're just continuing to prove this, that they think Remington name is solid gold, and they're going to market it to the higher-end, I guess, gun culture.
My favorite little 2 lines from here is the other carbine being released to the public from Big Green's defense arm is the RGP, the R4 GP, the Remington answer to a piston gun like the HK 416, which you can't buy because you suck and HK hates you. I just wanted to say that for John. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. So that rifle that Josh just mentioned, the RGP, has an MSRP of $3,890. So it's a $4,000 A2 grip M4 stock metal magazine AR-15.
Wow.
Oh, well, you sold me.
I think that what it is they're losing their government contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
Winding down, and they're that's part of their income, and so they're like, how else can we do it? And this isn't the only company doing this. There's some companies that they've like, I don't know, I hate to use, I'm not going to use an example of one, but like they pretty much are a military contractor, and then they put out, you could get their product, their scope mount, their flash hider, their whatever.
Well, like LWRC, right?
LWRC is a perfect example, but they're not maybe a perfect example. Let's just say Knight's Armament. because that's a no-brainer.
Sure.
The Knights Armament handguards and the rail system is like $400 to $600, right? With anybody else, you could get them for like $200. It's because they're charging the government that much for it. It's not that it's 3 times as much.
Right.
Surefire.
They're used to getting this type of margin in their
Yes.
product line.
It's not that they're used to.
replicate that.
If they charge the government a certain amount, they have to charge the public.
Yes,
yeah.
they
have no choice.
They have no choice. That's what I'm saying. So the fact that they're charging these astronomical prices, that's what they're charging the government, which is us. We're already paying for these guns to go in there, and this is something I feel very passionate about because we get overpriced junk that handed to us, and I'm like, why would I have this when I could have tons of other stuff that's reasonably priced out there? Why don't I have these other products when I have this stuff? And it's part of the military-industrial complex that they're involved in. And you hate America if you buy one of these guns.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Peter
It's part of the
makes a very,
gouging
very
of the
good
government
point.
and part of the military-industrial complex is why I'm trying to become a part of it. You mean we just have companies charging insane amounts of money for junk. Or not junk, just a mediocre.
Right. It's the same. It's the same mindset, like with hospitals billing insurance companies for mucus removal systems when all it is like a tissue.
Yeah.
I like Whitey's picture right
Yeah.
now.
What is going on with Whitey?
He's just eating popcorn.
He's just
watching it happen.
here to listen to the comments.
I mean, of all the other
Alright,
companies out there, if you're really buying some,
Moving on.
then I don't care what you think
Alright.
about me.
I gotta mute Peter. Democrats attempt to ban all
Yeah, from
rifle
timeout.
ammunition.
Let me be real. Is this real life? I mean, is
It's.
this really happening?
I
Alright.
see where they're going with this, but
New York's Representative Steve Israel is a committed member of the Progressive Anti-Liberty Caucus, attempting to push a new bill that they call the Modernized Law Enforcement Protection Act. They're all about protecting law enforcement.
Right. That's what it is
Seriously
this week.
dangerous, rifle ammunition. So.
Let's not talk about, I don't know, the past. How long has the green tip ammo been around?
Decades.
yeah,
I don't know how long it's been available for.
Since before Vietnam.
So this stuff has been on the market, and suddenly in 2015, it is the worst thing on earth, and it is killing cops. This ammo is magically a cop killer, as this little quote goes. And the best part about this whole thing, they're talking about police protection, right? They say that this is a armor-piercing bullet, which it does not. We have talked about this. When Nate Murr and Adam Kraut were on the show, those guys, I mean, they had so much knowledge about this. That's not an armor-piercing bullet. And if you look at the statistics, I'm pretty sure you would struggle to find a single story anywhere in the U.S. where an M855 killed a cop.
You can't even find AR pistols killing cops.
Right. So and even police agree. They're like, wait a second. This is not our problem. This is not what we're facing on the streets. We're not facing this specific kind of ammunition. But for some reason, these idiots in Congress decided that, you know what, we know what's best for the police because we sit here and soak up money in Washington, D.C., in our mansions, and we know what's best for the police, the people that are out there on the street. That's right. We know best. Get out of here. That's ridiculous. Nothing. Just creepy.
Yeah.
We're on a roll
the
tonight.
scary thing is.
We all agree with you, John. That's why we're so
Yeah,
quiet.
it's true. Yeah.
Okay, ATF.
Does it feel any better
Okay,
when, when I say it?
What, you want me to talk about? Go.
I'm
Go,
gonna
go,
mute
go.
all of you. ATF helped identify the Ferguson police shooter here. So the shooter that shot 2 Ferguson police officers last week. They were outside a precinct when this guy drove by.
M855 ammo.
And he did not shoot them with 5.56 ammo. It was a 40 caliber handgun, which actually the ATF helped link this guy to the shooting, apparently.
And so let's really go out of our way to point out something good that the ATF has done to help actually catch a criminal.
Is that the first time in history the ATF has done that?
You
No,
know,
it happened in Waco, Texas, also.
Oh
I mean, they don't. Notoriously, the ATF doesn't prosecute anybody.
No,
They
nor do they catch anybody.
so you know what I think this might be?
What's that?
I think this might be a prelude to them saying, "Oh, you know, because you know we helped through our what they say it was like through their state of the art
Ballistic technology.
ballistic, yeah, whatever magic
A
machine."
microscope.
But they're going to try to justify that. Oh, all new guns and ammunition have to be micro-stamped because we can prevent crimes before they start, or you know, something to that extent, you know.
Good old ATF. We need to come up with another. You know, we have moms demand attention. We need something like that for the ATF.
Moms demand attention.
Aero Precision and Ballistic Advantage forge a new partnership.
Pun intended.
No. So Aero
No, they
Precision,
forge
they're
barrels.
leader in the AR-15 market with their lowers and uppers, and now they're teaming up with Ballistic Advantage because they have some pretty nice barrels out
That
there.
they forge. You guys.
So yeah, what do you guys think?
Forge the barrels, and they're forging relationships. It was a pun.
I got it.
get
It was a pun. I forced the pun.
I also thought Ballistic Advantage was having Aero Precision was punny, but I guess not.
That is too funny. That's cool. It's good. I'd like to see people.
It's like a company named Ballistic and another company called Coefficient joining hands. It's like
So are we done with the bad jokes?
No, we have a whole section of the show for that.
So for those of you out there listening, Aero Precision is a big name in the industry because, like a lot of AR companies, they actually are one of the companies that produces parts for these other companies. You know, they'll make lowers on an ATF variants, which means that they can produce under somebody else's name, sell them to that company, and then distribute the parts elsewhere.
it's like you're pulling back some of that curtain there, John. A lot of people really do think a BCM is way better than. Never mind.
People are gonna die. They're gonna freak out.
All right. Well, we have, as usual, we have way too many stories to cover this week, so you can check the show notes, check out other stories about concealed carry helping curbing campus assaults, episode on Vice on HBO. Have you guys seen this series, Vice on HBO?
Yeah.
HBO actually emailed me today. I guess they want me to talk about this, but I'm not. But apparently they have an episode tonight or tomorrow about the rise of well-armed militias in America.
They're always embellishing. I watch their stuff. They try to make things. They sensationalize it.
So California teachers are mad about their pension fund still owning gunmaker stock. That's kind of funny.
HBO called you?
They emailed.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Pretty sure you said call, Jake.
Yeah, pretty sure you said called.
Oh, did I?
No, I think he said email.
No, he didn't.
No. Okay. Should we instant replay here? Do we have that flag on the field rule?
No, you said email. I heard.
Okay.
Email.
Illinois also streamlines the FOID application process, so you can check all that out. And if you're shopping online, you can contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link. Simply go to firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. You can bookmark that easy link or go to thisweekinguns.com and look for the Amazon banners, and it helps out the show. And if you want a little insight into all the cool ninja toys you can buy on Amazon, listen to last week's episode where we spent like a half hour on that. So full auto news segment is where we're at now. Stories the real media.
Shotgun Joe.
Real media. Wait, I'm
Simon.
done. Stories the real media won't talk about and other crazy stuff. This is where we each pick a story or two to call our own and share with you, the listener. Josh, go ahead.
Dibs on Shotgun Joe. So, for those of you who don't know, Ebbinghaus 2016. It's going to happen. And I will be VP of that campaign. And my goal as VP is to just do a little bit better than Shotgun Joe Biden. So the Joe Biden defense doesn't work for shotgun-wielding Washingtonian. So essentially, this 53-year-old man discovered men breaking into his vehicles at 3 a.m. back in 2013. He ran outside of his home, punched one in the face, and shot 3 shotgun rounds in the air to scare them off. And I quote, "I did what Joe Biden told me to do. I went outside and fired my shotgun in the air."
Yes!
Well, I think in fairness to Joe Biden, he said 2 shots.
And that's what I was thinking. Maybe it was a technicality, and that's why the defense didn't work, because he went one too many.
You know what I love about this is that the guy. This isn't like a kid that's trying to get away with shooting a gun in the air. This is a 53-year-old man who's like, well, by God, if Joe Biden says so. And we all remember that as the point where they quit putting Joe Biden on television without a script.
Without his handlers and like the taser, and then throw a cracker over here and he'll run. But didn't we cover a story where the Joe Biden defense did work? Was it like a year ago?
It might have been this guy trying to use it, and now we see the verdict of that.
This is the follow-up of the story?
Did this guy didn't, he's in trouble?
It's a misdemeanor. Up to a $5,000 fine and or up to a year in jail.
Very,
so damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Don't do what the vice president says. Do what he says.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't understand.
If we listened to everything they said, we would be in big trouble.
We need an executive order. That'll fix it.
Yep. There you go. Good thinking, Josh.
All right, who's up next?
I'm next.
All right, John.
You can now 3D print a suppressor. Game on, bitches.
Ooh, where's that story?
Texas gun dealer 3D prints a plastic silencer. This is the most amazing thing, and it totally makes sense. The materials are there. If it's functional, obviously we are still in the beginnings of 3D printing. Home printing is still plastic generally. Metal 3D printing is a lot more expensive, and the materials are a little bit more specialized. But when you can print this stuff out at home, the ATF doesn't know what to do. How can you regulate something like this? Why would you try to regulate something that makes it quieter? OMG, this is amazing. I'm so excited.
Also, it's also very melty.
Right. It's totally in plastic. It's totally not going to work. Whatever. It may work for 22
rounds.
Yeah, it may work for 22, which is what they have done here. They have it on a 1022. It's reasonably quiet, which is kind of awesome. The important thing here is that this is a trend. This is going down a road that we need to go down, just like 3D printed lowers and any other gun part that's 3D printed. If you can do it at home, this is a good thing.
I mean, you can make it so the suppressors aren't totally difficult to make. You know what I mean? So, right. But you still can't make it at home. You know what I mean? Like, even though you can make a really nice one at home with a 3D printer, doesn't mean that you can do it. I think that you should be able to do it, but whatever.
You can actually.
People don't care what I think about.
You can actually make your own suppressors.
Yeah, if you go through the proper stuff. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people don't know that. You can actually, excuse me, you can make your own suppressor on an ATF Form 1, much like you can with an SBR. It's the same process. But the important thing here is that people are starting to push boundaries that we never knew existed. This is the kind of innovation that we need from companies like Colt. They're out there spending millions and millions of dollars on guns that are the same old crap, and here somebody is making a 3D printed suppressor. This is important.
There is a video of him shooting it.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty quiet.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, Abs, what do you have?
Well, I have two. One is not in the show notes, so I'll be real quick. There's a video on guns.com, if you don't mind waiting for like 8 billion ads to load so you can see it, of the ATF disposing of 20,000 pounds of confiscated fireworks, and I make a lot of jokes about the ATF because I think they're completely useless and ridiculous. But it's interesting to me, and being a part of an FFL and having agents that we deal with and talk to that are extremely accessible and helpful, how many of these guys that are in the BATFE that actually are in it because they like guns. It's kind of you would think, well, if they like guns, then why would they be trying to oppress our freedoms? But a lot of these guys are getting closer to them, sort of, in a strange way. But anyway, the video is crazy because it shows like the entire sky being demolished by 10 tons of fireworks, which is cool. And then Jake, Henry rifles. Does anybody like lever action rifles?
I do.
Absolutely.
I love.
I like their pump action rifles.
I do too.
Henry just announced a series of rifles, kind of as a hat tip towards like Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, or southern Michigan areas that have straight wall hunting regulations for big game, where previously they were mostly limited to slug hunting with shotguns, and but these states have recently allowed the use of straight wall cartridges. So we're talking, and some of them have power restrictions, but we're talking like 45-70, 44 mag, even like 357 Magnum, stuff like that, 45 long Colt. And so what Henry did is they had some higher grade rifles that were like the brass receivers and stuff. That were a little bit more expensive, but they just released a series called the Big Boy Steel. And you can go to it. You see henryrifles.com. They have information on it. And I'm not paid by Henry, nor have they ever sent me anything. I just think their rifles are extremely cool. And yeah, cool stuff. A lot of stuff you could do with straight wall, even like big bore handgun stuff through rifles nowadays. So that's pretty cool.
That's really exciting, man. To see that growing in a company like Henry, who is kind of their entire business model is traditional stuff. To see them going, you know what, we want to help change this a little bit. That's really, really cool. And everybody knows I love big bore, so
I would love it.
Game on.
All right, Peter, what do you got?
All right, this is awesome. Mom shoots TV as kids watch Primus music video. 40-year-old mother of 3 was disturbed by the... It's unclear whether the 40-year-old mother of 3 was disturbed by the strange claymation graphics, strange lyrics, or crunchy brass solos by the early 90s rock band, but one thing is clear, she did not like what her kids were watching. So she took a Ruger 22 caliber rifle and shot the 50-inch Panasonic flat screen TV as her kids 15, 11, and 6 were watching it. It's a little excessive.
I mean, way to go, Mom.
Apparently, in Illinois, it's a felony to discharge a firearm.
In your own home?
In your own home, I guess, while your kids are watching. So, but I mean, that's not. I don't think that you should be allowed to discharge firearms in your house at your TV. While you have a child.
Why not? It's my constitutional.
Well, I guess, I mean, if you make sure that the rounds wouldn't go into fringe somebody else's. If you had a backstop or something safe. I guess if you could do it safely, I would agree. But I mean, it's probably not the safest thing. It's probably not part of the Second Amendment there. It's probably not why they wrote that in. I don't know.
The funniest part about this isn't that Mom went off, isn't that she discharged her 22 indoors, or just absolutely waxed their television. It's that it was over on Primus.
I'm impressed that her 15-year-olds are still watching Primus. Like, I thought, I bet you if I go to this college campus and took like a survey of 100 kids, you might have one kid say they know who Primus is. Here, there's a bunch of children watching it, so Primus lives on, I suppose. Regardless of what this lady wants to do.
Is it which one was it? Was it like Southbound Pachyderm or
My Name is Mud?
No, it links to it. It's
didn't they do one where they were with Rambo was on it? It was like little pig, let me in.
Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
Yeah.
Jake,
this is an awesome video.
Yeah, it's another one of those pages that's ruled by ads that won't let me open it. So.
All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. I think I'll pick employees offered an extra $50 each month if they carry a concealed firearm at work. So this is out of a Davenport, Iowa paper, and an attorney who supports the Second Amendment and concealed carry wanted to come up with a way to encourage people to carry. His idea: offer his employees an extra $50 a month in their check if they carry on the job.
That's actually really interesting.
That's
Is this the first time we've ever seen something like this? People actually getting paid to carry a gun?
First time I've seen it.
Here's the question. You know how they can discriminate? You're not allowed to discriminate against people for age or religion or whatever. It's like saying, I will say, like, you can't say, I'll pay you $50 extra if you're Catholic or something, right? That's not legal, right?
Right.
I believe so.
So is it illegal to
Well, isn't that like a performance perk or something?
I don't know. That could be really good.
That's actually it's an interesting viewpoint, Peter.
It's because if that's the case, then we really have more of a leg to stand on. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there's certain things you can and can't do. I think it's very. I mean, an attorney is doing this, so I'm sure he knows the law according to employee practices.
Here's the kicker. This guy, this attorney, Eric Perrier, owner of Perrier Law. What a interesting last name. He is a certified NRA instructor and teaches safety courses so that people can obtain their permits. So, he is the go-to authority on firearm safety. And if you look at the target that's hanging up in his office, somebody there has no idea how to shoot.
They took an NRA basic pistol course.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to comment.
At least they hit the paper in their NRA basic pistol course.
Well, there's a couple low lefts there. Clearly their first time shooting, and you know what? Good on them for trying.
Yeah,
Definitely
definitely.
they hone that skill. And
They even have their
those groups.
targets hanging up in the office.
Know what they could do? They could go to Four Guys Guns and become a member, and then find some places to get instructed.
Oh, man.
Really
Members
well.
who could do
Twice.
that.
That's twice with the dynamite transition.
Yeah,
Peter.
dynamite.
All right. Are there any other full auto news stories that we want to hit?
Oh, there's a bunch actually. Like this was a really good week for the full auto stuff, Jake.
We had a lot of stories.
It's funny because I figured Peter would be all over the, especially with his love of ISIS. It seems.
No, what? I never said that.
ISIS fighters dressed as a woman in desperate attempt to flee battlefield. Guns of the Iditarod.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that
was cool.
As I thought it was going to be.
The Iditarod one definitely had me because I didn't realize, like, for those that don't know, the Iditarod is the longest race. It's a dog race from Anchorage to Nome or something like that, and it's just dog sled. It's like 2 weeks of just sub-zero, nature hates you, and
More
there's
people
like
have climbed Everest than finished Iditarod.
right.
Oh, that's a really cool fact.
Yeah, that's a good one, Peter. Nice
I'm writing that down.
But they even have a rule about killing of game animals that I thought was pretty cool, where if you have to defend your sled or your dogs against wolves, bears, moosin, whatever is up there, there's a rule where you're not allowed to continue along the race until you thoroughly gut the animal, and then you have to report at the next checkpoint. If somebody comes up on you, they can't pass you. They also have to help clean and gut the animal to leave for game wardens. But that was not nearly as interesting as I had no idea moose killed dog.
Moose are, they are incredibly strong and they're just monstrous animals.
But they hate dogs. That I did not know
I
that.
didn't know that.
Well, they're so similar to wolves, and
Right,
wolves
and
are
that's
natural predator.
So all that
Oh.
aside, that's just like the cool parts about this article. But the really cool stuff is the fact that they have like what people carry in their sleds. So it's funny because you see a lot of my favorite like revolvers, for instance, like the Ruger Blackhawk in 44 mag. Huge fan of that gun, especially in the 6-inch barrel. That thing is a monster. Another person carried a flare gun. I thought that was actually pretty cool because it gets so dark, it's so clear out there, and a flare gun off of snow and ice will just illuminate forever. And she
Smart.
said, I think it was a she, yeah, Laura. She carries it because it's it lights everything up. You can see when the threat is. It scares things off. But Becca, Becca Moore. Yay, Becca.
Yeah. The girl carries
44 mag.
the Alaskan.
Oh my
Right?
god, I love that pistol so
Yes.
hard. Yeah. With a 2.5-inch barrel, ain't nothing coming back after that. Oh my god, big loud bada boom. And then you have like your lever actions, your scope stuff. Like this was really cool.
What about the dude? What about the dude that trash talks Canada, like the Canadian guy who races it? And
Really,
then
dude?
they asked him, and he says his quote is, "Really, dude? My government would rather see me die on the trail than let me own a handgun." He's from Yukon Territory. But then I also like how so all these people have they have something that's either proven or they rely on, except the guy who carries the Taurus. Anyway. But they all have revolvers. Like they all have large caliber revolvers, except for the flare gun girl and the Canadian. And then Mike Shoby, the editor of Peterson's Hunting, feels the need to insert like what he would do. And it's interesting because all these people are carrying stuff that are smaller, or they're easy to keep on them, or they're lighter weight. And then they say Shoby has a lot of experience hunting big game species in remote wilderness areas, and then he has a quote, and he names the rifle as Super BA. I mean, it's a fantastic scout setup from Wild West Guns in Alaska, which they've had a TV show and stuff. But it's like a 8 or 9 pound setup. And so if you're thinking about these people's like their rigs and trying to keep them lighter and like be able to move and actually race, and then Shoby comes in and is like he basically places an ad for Wild West Guns. At the end of the article, like that just defines. Yes, this is online, but that just defines like gun magazines, I think.
I can't stop looking at that Super Red Hawk Alaskan though. I love that damn pistol.
So, for those of you that don't know, a little background on the Iditarod has been going on for a long time, but they don't. When we say dog racing, a lot of people just when they think
1973.
Dogs, they think of like their own dog, and in the continental states you think of Labradors and Poodles and all that kind of nonsense. These are like strong. They're Huskies 9 times out of 10, and they're incredibly powerful dogs. My own brother actually had a sled dog team, and they had 9 Huskies, and they are incredibly powerful, especially when you tie them up. So these dogs, there's something in their breeding where when you hook them up, they freak out. All they want to do is pull. They just want to pull that sled all day, all night, and that's what they do. And because they look like wolves, that's why we go back to the moose wanting to attack them. And some of these Huskies, I mean, they can be just monsters. And if let's say somebody is not using a Husky, they're using a Malamute, which is a dog that is much bigger, but also looks like a Husky and a wolf. I mean, these dogs are not your standard pets. These are not pets. These are race animals.
And this race goes from 9 to 15 days or more, and teams generally race through blizzards causing whiteout conditions, sub-zero temperatures, and gale force winds, which cause the wind chill to reach negative 100 degrees.
Goodness.
I mean, I can't even fathom that.
They did it. The only reason somebody attempted this is like, I think the story goes, there were like some children in a hospital that were getting sick of some disease, and they needed to like get the antidote or whatever it was from one point to another. They had to do it. They had to get there to save the children, and they did. Other than saving children, there's no way getting out there to do that. You're crazy.
Gotta save the kids.
All right. Well, that brings us to our Patreon segment this week. If you want to help us produce more Pro Gun Radio like This Week in Guns, you can help us out on patreon.com/week. It's an easy way for you to crowdfund this show. And we'd like to thank our companies that have put up some cool swag that I'll be sending out soon in some random battle boxes to a few select patrons of This Week in Guns, including MS Clean Kits. Some of those will be going out. Duluth Trading Company gift cards, GunGoddess.com gift cards, and Duke Cannon Supply Company sending out those ammo boxes behind me that you see filled with 5 big-ass bricks of manly soap. So check it out, patreon.com/week. And also check out our network-wide Patreon program at Firearms Radio Network. It's link to it is patreon.com/FRN. Well, that about wraps us up. So, Peter, how is the MS, right? MS Clean.
Miss Clean. It's a girl. Just think of the girl.
No,
Whatever.
the
We have a Kickstarter. It started off really well, and it's really like plateaued out, which just happens with Kickstarters. But now I'm starting to freak out. So we'll see how it works out. I sent a lot of my product to a lot of people who I thought were either cool or were relevant. You know what I mean, to like the product or something like that. Or a lot of them I just thought were really cool people for support. So we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to do a giveaway next week for some stuff. I hate to artificially inflate numbers and stuff, but I think it's a good way to like get people to do whatever. But it's all from Amazon. So I think if you go on and you support the Kickstarter through it uses your Amazon account, you probably can use that crazy number that you guys use. What is it? You tell them about it. You could use the number in the show notes for Amazon. I don't know, isn't there? I don't know how it works. If you buy something off Amazon, can't they use affiliate? You say it all the time. I hear you say it.
I don't know if it works for Kickstarter. You can click through and see what happens, I suppose. But
well, just whatever. You didn't. I told you to research it.
Okay.
Trying to give you money here.
So I appreciate that. I'm trying. This is about you, Peter. We're trying to get your Kickstarter funded. So yeah, you're about halfway there. You got 22 days to go. So go check it out. Do you have an easy link you can give out to it?
If you just go to Kickstarter and type in MS Clean, it'll pop up. And the link is in the
I think it's show notes. I think it's MS Clean, Peter. I think you typed it. Well, very cool. Go over there, support veterans and MS Clean. Very cool stuff you got going on there, Peter. And there's lots of cool stuff there. You can still pledge to get lots of perks, prizes. What is rewards? That's what Kickstarter calls it.
Yeah, they're rewards. So it's now a donation. You can get a bunch of stuff. You get whatever you want there. You're probably not going to find it as cheap anywhere else ever again. So it's I kind of priced it below that. And then also, we went off the Tom's model on some of the reward levels. So if you buy a kit, we'll send a kit to children in Africa without shoes. No, we'll send it to people who are soldiers deployed, service members deployed overseas right now. So as soon as we get them.
Very cool. John, I'm with Chaos. What's going on?
Just working on some new content, trying to finish up some things. Been out filming. I've been traveling a lot with my company, Patent Media, just doing all kinds of stuff, man. Just trying to make it happen. Just trying to get out there and keep creating good content. We got some big things coming this summer. I won't get into it yet, but I think we're gonna change it up a little bit, and it's gonna be special.
Very cool. Well, we look forward to seeing more special. And Whitey, Four Guys Guns.
Four Guys Guns is doing the Four Guys Guns thing. We just uploaded a new review, I believe yesterday, on Innovative Gunfighter Solutions. We have another review going up next week on Lehigh Defense and their max expansion ammo and the controlled chaos ammo, which is going to be really cool. It's a long one, so I'm just going to brace everyone, but totally worth it. High-speed camera involved, ballistic gelatin, discotech, lots of coolness. Let's see. FGG members, if you're a member, just went up with sling. So basically how to use a sling and how to select a sling. A lot of things first-timers and beginners who just get their AR and just kind of put it in a case and take it out of the case, put it in the case. If you ever go and need that, a sling is probably one of the best investments you could ever get, aside from maybe an optic. But so how to use a sling. We also have a new one coming up end of next week, I believe, for members called it's a lethality. So we're going to discuss T-box and all that stuff and where you should be focusing most of your training when you are practicing, whether it be alone or in a course with an instructor. Lots going on. We just replenished a patch order, so we're gonna have a couple new patches. Oh, big push, and I would appreciate anyone who could help. Because of the chopper, not because of, but the chopper that went down in Florida. We lost a bunch of good MARSOC guys and some Army aviators. So we are partnered with our friend Nick Smith from Weaponcraft, and we, along with Fight Soap, Pipe Hitters Union, and Weaponcraft, and I think other people are hopping in as well, are doing a bunch of individual stuff to lead towards a very large donation to the Raider Project. We have a charity patch called the Fallen Raider that right now is on pre-order. We are limiting it to 300, and we already have 100 and something gone, which is great, huge support. 100% of the proceeds are being donated to the Raider Project. Pipe Hitters Union has a shirt, also same markings, same everything, but they're doing that. Fight Soap is coming out with their own charity soap. Again, same goals, same premise.
I want to do this.
Well, funny story, he's going to go down to C2 Shooting Center in Virginia. You can actually go and take a 2-day course to also, all proceeds of that are benefiting the Raider Project. So 25 seats, I think 7 or 10 are already gone.
I'm actually going to try to get myself a seat in that class.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Really good.
So you're saying Nick Smith from Weaponcraft, he's heading this whole thing?
Yes, he's doing it all to help benefit the Raider Project. So he's not part of the Raider Project, but he is a former Marine, and he wanted to, what good is all this reach, is all this, voice, all this marketing, whatever you want to call it, we do, if you're not putting it to good use. And he definitely wants to do more than just give back, and he's coming completely out of pocket. He's, all his traveling, everything to go do this course, and it's all, a bunch of good guys in the industry. Some people from RE Factor Tactical will be running the course as well as AI in the course. So this is going to be a really cool event. I'm really excited to see what comes of it. I'm really excited that Four Guys Guns can donate. Right now we're already up to, let's just call it what it is. If we sold 100 patches, we're up to a $1,000 donation. At $10 a patch, please buy 1, buy 2, buy 10. It's going to a good cause, and we'll even, if anyone wants to see the receipt, we'll show, because we're going to put that check out there. By all means, go check it out. Either go to 4guysguns.com, go to Weaponcraft, go to Pipe Hitters Union. Fight Soap didn't release their shenanigans yet, and if anyone on this podcast is like a closet Fight Soap fan, you just got a drop notification that I don't think was supposed to be announced. So
very cool all the way around. So, Ebs, what's going on? House of Guns and House of Arms.
I've got an NFA video I'm putting out this weekend, or beginning of this week, of how to do like a PAP conversion.
What just happened?
He's talking, it's just going dunk, dunk.
Is this like songified?
No. He's messing with us.
No, he's not.
No, it's something's
Oh,
wrong.
he stopped talking.
Yeah, I don't.
Ebs, unmute yourself, see if it fixes it.
Wow, we broke Ebs.
Broke Ebs.
Unplug
Pull your mic
headset.
up and down again. How about that?
Put the mic up.
Unplug the headset and plug it back in.
What's nutty is he can still hear us.
Ebs, can you hear yourself going blum 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 blum?
It's like it sounds like someone twinging a rubber band over and over again. Dum 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 dum. Oh my God, the hair's going. He's gonna go Viking any second now.
Anyways, so yeah, you can check that out, houseofguns.com and houseofarms.com. So that about wraps us up.
Look at defeat.
So you can leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of this YouTube video or the bottom of the show notes at thisweekinguns.com/109. And please leave us an iTunes review. Contribute to the show by shopping our Brownells or Amazon affiliate links. Just go to thisweekinguns.com and look for those affiliate banners. Do we have you back, Ebs?
Yeah, whatever, saboteur.
What?
This is he sent me this headset. It's rigged blackout when it was my turn to talk at the end.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Yeah, I know how you are with Amazon. Just cool your jets.
Anyways, did you want to share anything else?
No, I think my time has been spent.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Ebbs.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks for having me, Jake. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Thank you, Peter. And that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.